Bam. Bam. My peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know how we do it. We're going to talk boxing. But before we get to all the good stuff, we did have a great weekend of boxing. Some very interesting fights to talk about. But before we get to all that, let me just say good morning, my peoples. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Jay Smith. Happy Monday, man. Starting off the week. It's going to be a great show. Like I said, man, it was a great weekend of boxing. Some good fights, some competitive fights, and it all ended up with an explosive knockout. Right there, you have it. Right there. So, on Saturday, there was, 5, 6 fights? But I'm going to be focusing now for the opening on 3 fights. And then we'll talk about the entire card. We'll talk about other fights and other stuff that's going on in boxing, my peoples. Chris Fontaine, yo, top of the morning. Early. Y'all know how we doing it. Another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, my peoples. Come on now. Chris Fontaine, a clean knockout. We got to talk about that, man. We have to talk about it. So again, my peoples, good morning. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is going to be another edition, another great episode. I'm excited about, talking these fights that we watched. We got lots to talk about, man. Lots to unpack for you. Ernest Morales. Buenos días, Maestro J. Buen día, hermano mío. Bam. Chris Fontaine, let's get into it. You got it. Oh, Chris Fontaine, that's how you doing it this Monday morning? You ready for the smoke like that? You sure you ready for this smoke? Because I'm coming out firing on all cylinders. I'm telling you this right now. So here we go. Let's kick this damn thing off with Ray Savage, Mr. Raymond Ford, and Abraham Nova. Please, if you was tuned in to Friday's episode of Boxing for Breakfast, I want to start this thing off by reminding y'all what I said. I said, my peoples, Abraham Nova is no bum. He not a regular dude. Please don't believe that notion that, he's done, he's washed, and Ray Ford is just going to beat him up and wash him. I told you, my people, this was going to be a competitive fight. Because we live in a day and age where people discredit fighters. Where you take a loss, you take a couple of losses. He done, he's cooked, he's washed, he's a bum. All of that stuff. But look at that fight. Look how competitive it was. And salute to Ray Savage, by the way. Shakur Stevenson gave him his flowers, say he's one of the best boxers in the world. And if he say that, Shakur's not going around just giving flowers to anybody. If he's saying that, there's a reason why. And Ray Savage, he showed out. He had to make adjustments in that fight. Abraham Nova can fight. I told you, my peoples. Ain't nobody washing him. The notion that Abraham Nova is just going to get washed because he got a couple losses, nah, he can fight. He can fight, my peoples. So that's a quality win, a very good win for Ray Savage. The fight went the distance, and they banged it out. They went back and forth. Abraham Nova had his moments, landed some good shots, kept applying the pressure. It's just that speed, my people. I'm going to tell you right now, man, Raymond Ford has one of the best jabs in boxing, one of the quickest, fastest, sharpest jabs in boxing. Pah! Pah! Like, it's just like a whip. Damn. K-Man, Moses is the man. We're going to talk about that. We got to unpack a lot when it comes to Moses Itauma. Chris Fontaine, not going to lie, I thought Abraham was going to get cooked up. Listen, my brother, I knew this fight was going to be competitive. Honestly, I felt like maybe Ray Ford was going to stop him, late, 7th, 8th. Because sometimes Abraham Nova has had that problem where he runs out of gas in the mid-rounds. But for this fight, his conditioning was elite level. This guy, you saw he never stopped fighting. He never stopped. There was a moment like in the 7th round where it looked like he was starting to slow down, and then he picked it up again. I was like, I even said it during the fight. I was like, oh shit, that's it. He's starting to wear down, but now he kept it going. You know, made it a competitive fight, and it was a fun. You know, that's what we want to watch. That's what we want to see. Two guys go at it, trading leather for the duration. That's what we got. For the people that want to see, you know, that don't want to see the fighters move, that say that they're running and all that, well, Ray Savage and Abraham Nova gave us what we wanted. Ernest Morales, Abraham Nova is for real. Anxious to see him again. 4-2. Raymond Ford is a special fighter, man. That's the reason why Shakur vouched for him. You know he's not just going to vouch for a regular, for some goofball. That ain't going nowhere. Ray Savage is for real. AJ, all gas, no brakes. Abraham Nova showed that he's not washed, that he's not done, that he's still competitive at the highest level. So you're going to see him fighting again with names. He's going to get more opportunities. Chris Fontaine, get them likes up, y'all. Damn, I got 1 like up in here. That's cold-blooded. For Raymond Savage, Ray Ford, that spectacular performance, a competitive fight, give you the breakdown for 1 like. Goddamn, y'all did me wrong for that one. But let's move on. Filip Hrgovic, my peoples. Whoa. Did y'all see Filip Hrgovic versus Adela? What a fight. First of all, we found out that Filip Hrgovic is for real. Ernest Morales. Nova seems to have his resistance in check. Man, listen. At no point in time during that fight did it appear like he was running out of gas. Well, like I say, he slowed down a bit in the 6th or the 7th, and then he picked up the pace again and kept it like that, kept the pressure on for the rest of the fight. Good stuff. Now, if you watch Hrgovic versus Adela, that was insane. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, when it comes to Filip Hrgovic, this is the first time that I watch his entire fight. I've seen him before, but this is the first time that I say, okay, let me watch him. And let me tell you, my peoples, Filip Hrgovic is for real. The offensive firepower is insane. Punches and bunches, combinations, accurate, sharp, combinations to the body and to the head. He likes to mix it up. Filip Hrgovic is for real. Telling you that right now. Adela put up a good fight, but I'm going to tell you what, Hrgovic was actually dominant. And then eventually he got clipped with a monster left hook. What round was it? I can't remember what round it was, but maybe was it the 10th round? The 9th? It was late. He got clipped with a monster left hook. Boom! And he got hurt. And he took some punishment. But he was able to you know, weather the storm. But Filip Hrgovic, my peoples, if you haven't watched him fight, oh, there you go, in the 9th. Oh, yeah, because the fight went the 10th. He got hurt in the 9th, and then they went to the last round. And he got hurt pretty bad, but that also shows you what Adela is about. He got hurt badly. He got dropped, got up wobbly, and in an exchange, shot that left hook, boom, and caught him with that. So they both hurt each other within like 20 seconds apart. For the tail end of that round, they was both wobbly. Both of them was like, boom, boom. But then when they got to the 10th round, you see Hrgovic got his composure, went back to work. So, in my opinion, I could tell you right now, Filip Hrgovic will become a world champion. That's what I see in him. World championship caliber. Yeah, real talk. You know, from seeing the highlights, to me, that wasn't enough. Because you guys know, when it comes to watching highlights, you're looking at the best parts. So obviously, the guy's gonna look good. He's gonna look. You're gonna see when he's landing the big punches and knocking people out. Some of them knocking people. Some highlights is knocking somebody out that you never seen in your life. So you can't put that much weight into the highlights. You got to see the actual fight. See how he made his opponent miss, how he slipped, how he gets on the inside, the combination up top, down low, in real time. And Filip Hrgovic got the goods. The offensive bag of tools is serious. Salute and congratulations to Filip Hrgovic, my peoples. I already told you, if you haven't watched him, tune in. Follow up on your boy, because he can fight, and he got power. And he's going to be a problem in the division for a while. He's going to be around. He ain't going nowhere. Let's get to the main event, my peoples. Moses Itauma. Como es Erickson? Hold on, my people. Hold on. Moses. Así. Enrico Itauma. Let's talk about the main event, my peoples. Enrico Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. Adela Penat, Moses Itauma versus Jai Opetaia will be a good future fight. That's gonna be, I believe that's a super fight, a big fight. But you have to understand, right now, it's Jai Opetaia is not heavyweight, so that's gonna be way. And Moses, 20 years old, Opetaia, I'm not sure his age. I don't know his age off the top of my head, but they're young enough to where it could happen in the future. So, let me just say, Mr. Enrico Itauma showed us what a special fighter he is, my peoples. Think about the performance that he put together. At 20 years old, he faced Dillian Whyte and looked explosive, obliterated in the first round. And I'm going to tell you what, I heard someone post, well, I read a post where they're saying that Dillian Whyte, his knee wasn't good, he wasn't going to have a good fight. I don't know how true that is. Regardless, did you guys see the speed in Moses Itauma? Did you see the body punching? Did you see the combinations? Did you see the angles? Did you see the footwork, the movement? At 20 years old, that's crazy. Did you see the power? Adela Penat, Moses Itauma versus Turamoana is also a good future fight. Oh my God, that's an amazing fight. That's going to take some time because Turamoana is like 26 years old and Itauma's only 20. So that gap is a little bit too much right now. But that fight is going to happen. I believe that fight is going to happen. They're both high-level fighters, both very skilled. We're going to see them share the ring, I believe. John Parham, even though David lost, I still want to see him against Moses. So there's going to be a lot of options for Moses Itauma. That performance, his stock exploded. That's it. A lot of people that never even heard of him, they talking about him now. His stock is up, so he's going to have options. Let's see what route they decide to go. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I like the approach that Frank Warren is taking, that, we're going to develop him. There's no need to rush at 20 years old. I've said it before. You can wait till he's about 22. Just think about it. Look how hard this kid punches, and he's 20. Try to imagine by the time he's 22, 23 years old, because he's going to hit a lot harder than what we see now. Think about your strength when you were 20 and your strength when you were 24, 25, 26. So right now, he's a brutal puncher. Imagine, in a few years, what he's going to be. So, my people, Moses Itauma, whoa. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Adari, there's a lot much better qualities of heavyweights now than in Klitschko's era. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say, because Klitschko's era has some good ones, some great ones. Itauma will be Usyk if Itauma doesn't get crazy under the fight. This kid is amazing. You don't want to jump the gun, my brother. You don't want to jump the gun. Right now, today, he doesn't beat Usyk. I'm telling you. Right now, today, he get outboxed. Today. I promise you, he get outboxed. At 20 years old, with the type of experience he's had thus far, Usyk outboxes him. Right now. But if Usyk stick around and allow him to get to his own man strength, then he beat him up. He beat him up after that. But today, nah. He not ready for that. That's kind of like when people try to say, yo, Abdullah Mason, he'll beat up Shakur. No, don't jump the gun just yet. No, he won't. Could put up a good fight. But the experience, when two guys are at a high level, the experience is going to make that difference. You gotta give him some time. You cannot. There's a reason why someone like Frank Warren is not trying to rush him into a title. And you have to understand, Frank Warren been a promoter for what, 30 years? Or maybe even longer, 40, I don't know. Queensberry, how long Queensberry been around? So he know what he's doing. He understands that. And there's been fighters who had that type of potential, who they threw them in there too early, and their career just didn't go the way it should have. That could be the case. You put Itauma versus somebody like Usyk, he take a loss, his confidence goes down, and that's it. Everything could change after that. Adari, it would be great if Queensberry Promotion and Matchroom just join forces, team up, and merge, also become one company. That would be great, but I don't think that could ever happen, simply because both companies ain't making the same amount of money. Both companies don't have the same amount of fighters, of stars. I'm not gonna point either way. But if me and you have a company and my company has 10 champions and your company has 5 and my company is making more money and bringing in more prospects, I'm not gonna want to merge with you, because I feel like I'm gonna just be giving you of mine. They're like, hell, unless you're willing to merge and we cut the profits 70-30, which now ego is going to come into play. You're going to say, hell no, if we merge and it's 50-50. So I don't see Queensberry and Matchroom being rivals for so long that I don't see that possibility. That's like, try to imagine saying, yo, imagine if Top Rank and Golden Boy merged. Oscar De La Hoya and Bob Arum hate each other. That could never happen. Domingo Bonilla, obviously he wants Moses to his next cash cow. They're going to move him right. Yeah, they're going to move him right. They're going to move him right because the kid really does have that type of talent. John Parham, give AJ Big Baby and Ruiz first, and then maybe Parker. I like all of those fights. Chris Fonson, Burlanga. Oh, man, Burlanga. Listen, bro, Burlanga done made Hamza Shiraz the king of New York. I don't even want to hear it. Hamza Shiraz is the king of New York because of Edgar Burlanga. Ernest Morales, Moses didn't waste his punches. His accuracy was surprising. Not just his accuracy. I want you guys to think about this. It was a first-round knockout, right? An obliteration. But I also want you to think, even though it was fast, how patient Itauma was when he landed that first big shot. That's something that, those are intangibles that people don't really notice. Fighters who don't have that pedigree, they hit somebody and hurt them, and they just go crazy. fighters who have that, boom, they still stay poised. Still using the head movement getting in. Still putting the jab out there. Itauma looks the part when he's working out there. Notice the way that he operates. Hard punches, but not wild. Not just all over the place. Sharp. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Super sharp punches. And fast. Moses Itauma is going to be the type of fighter who will be very hard to fight him from the outside because he has that range. He has that power. But it's going to be super hard to fight him on the inside because how sharp he is. Bam, bam, bam. Combination punches where he's shooting 3-4 punches and they all landed flush. To the body and the head. A fighter like that, bro, is like a cheat code. Because he has the physical advantages, reach, size, strength, but then he has the technical advantages too. Once you merge those two together, it's a problem, baby. It's a problem. K-Man, I don't think Whyte threw one punch. He threw a couple, but what could he do? What could he do? Gino, I watch UFC sometimes, but I don't really follow up on it like that, brother. K-Man, he remembered to go to the body during them punches. You saw the combinations. He will go bam, 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 bam. Like up, top, down, low, mixing it up. Come on now. Come on now. Mix it up nicely. After 24 hours, my guy, come back and talk about boxing. John Parham, we should have 10 likes by now. Damn, man. We done spoke about the whole card, every single fight. Well, not the whole card. 3 of them. Ray Savage did his thing. Filip Hrgovic did his thing. And, of course, Moses Itauma did what he had to do. Walked out of there with the W. By the way, did you guys know that Moses Itauma, his first name is Enrico? Did you guys know that? Adari, Moses Itauma versus Lanier Perro would be a good boxing match. I like that fight. Did you guys know that? Moses Itauma, his first name is Enrico. The thing is, his actual name is Enrico Moses Itauma. But when he signed with Frank Warren, they wanted his name to sound, I guess, more commercial. So they removed the Enrico and left the Moses. Good morning, Ryan. Do you want to give me a hug? Let me.
I love you, Lilo.
So, my peoples, you guys tell me which fight did you watch yesterday and caught you off guard? Did you see any of these fights and a result that you did not expect? Because I'm telling you right now, these fights played out the way that I expected them. I didn't think Hrgovic and Adela was going to turn into that, where both of them would go down. But I knew it was going to be Hrgovic kind of washed them, to be honest. But Adela just hurt him and started doing some things after that. But for the most part, Hrgovic was putting hands on him. That's a result that I didn't expect it like that. I thought it was going to be more competitive. But great fight. Ray Savage versus Nova. It played out the way that I try to tell everybody it would. Very competitive fight. Nova was in his face the whole time. Ray Savage with his sharp counter punching and just operating the way he does, walked out of there with the W. And then in Rico, Moses Itauma with the explosive, brutal knockout in the first round of Dillian Whyte. We can't complain, my people. We got some good boxing. Let me go. ¿Qué pasó? What happened, Ryan? Un chico malo me llevó. Un chico malo. Que un chico malo me llevó a mí. ¿Para dónde? Allá, de que me llevó. No, nadie te va a llevar. Es que el chico malo me llevó. Y yo te tenía que decir. Oh, ¿y a dónde está el chico malo? Right? You want chocolate milk? Damn, my people, I gotta take this hoodie off, man. It's hot as hell out here. You want chocolate milk? Espérate, no. Él me está diciendo que es el chico malo. ¿Quién es el chico malo? Él me llevó. ¿Qué te pasa? Porque el chico malo como llevó. Vean, Cali. ¿Tú estabas soñando algo, verdad? Él se levantó solo de la cama y se abrió. Ah, sí, se estaba. De mala. Ya, ven, Liro, ven. Para que te desayuno. Déjalo ahí, que yo no lo voy a pasar. Vamos. Hold on, my peoples. Hold on. He need his chocolate milk. We not done with this boxing for breakfast, my people. Hold on, my peoples. I'll be with you shortly. And by the way, I want you guys to explain to me something. How is it possible that somebody can have an excuse for why every single one of Terence Crawford's win is not that good? Can y'all explain that to me? How can people have an excuse to diminish every single Terence Crawford win? I need to understand that. So the question is why people want Terence, why people diminish everything that Terence Crawford does, every fight. Everything gets diminished if it's done by Terence Crawford. Superman said because those people are haters. I mean, I think that's really the only logical explanation behind it. But damn, why would you hate on that type of fighter, on a championship caliber fighter? Why would you want to hate? I don't even know. I could never understand it. Dari, I always wanted to see Terence Crawford versus Jaron Ennis. I wanted to see that fight too. I wanted to see that fight, but Boost turned it down. We could have had it. They should have accepted. They should have accepted the offer, but they chose not to. And Boost Pops is on record as saying he didn't accept the offer because they was loyal to Showtime, and Showtime was about to pull the plug on boxing. So that didn't even make no sense. But that's the way that it played out. That's the way that it played out. John Parham, Boost should be called Slippers. That's the funny thing about it, man. People, fight this guy, fight that guy. We just watched Jerome Boost Ennis decline the offer to fight Virgil Ortiz. He could have made that fight too. So as of right now, Boost could have fought Crawford and chose not to. And he could have fought Virgil Ortiz and also chose not to. Come on now. Come on now. Let's get it, my people. So all I'm saying is this. This is a narrative that I could never understand. How can I see a fighter who's been a world champion for so many years, who keeps winning, who keeps accomplishing, and yet I'm going to say, nah, that win was not that good for this reason, and that win was not that good for this reason, and every single win in his resume, I find a way to say that it's not that good. I don't know, my people, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That just doesn't. So basically, you get to the number one pound for pound slot to become the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, to become one of the most accomplished in the world by just beating regular dudes. That's strange. You know, anybody who been following boxing for a long time will say, yo, the guy who's at the top of the pound for pound list is a guy who beat some great fighters. It's a guy who's beat a lot of fighters, a lot of champions, who's done a lot to get to that point. Adari, Pitbull versus Nick Ball would be fireworks. I like that fight. I like that fight. For sure. For sure. My people, by the way, for those of you having breakfast, enjoy your breakfast. If you're on your way to work, if you just woke up, whatever the case may be. This is another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. And right now I'm having some chocolate milk with this type of bread. I don't know what the name of it is, but I could tell you this is some good shit. Butter. Is it butter bread or some shit like that? Pan de mantequilla. The good stuff. Yo, look at this dude, man. This dude a funny dude. Look at this guy, y'all. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Yo, what you doing, son? What you doing, son? Oh, hell yeah, we some bread-eating motherfuckers. Hell yeah. You like chocolate milk, sir? I love chocolate milk. I can definitely tell you. You're 100% right about that. And then I got that quick. What y'all know about that quick? Aroma sound, salute. Bam. Look at this guy. So what you guys think about Moses Itauma, man? What you guys think about Moses Itauma? How soon is he going to become a world champion? How soon will Moses Itauma become a world champion? I say in 2 years. And I say in two, maybe even 3. I say in 2-3 years. Simply because I know Frank Warren's not trying to rush him. Which is a move I agree with. Aroma Sound, as soon as he gets his chance, he's the new gun. No, he's the new young gun. Superman, I'm saying you're Chocolate Milk Senior. It's Chocolate Milk Junior. Yo, Chocolate Milk is a stamp of our life. John Pound, what the F? We still on 6 likes? The forces, man. The forces are working against Jay Smith these days. Jay Jax, Jay Smith. Look like we're here at Box Center calling bouts into existence. Tank, Pac-Man, soon, Roche Shakur. We might be speaking them into existence. Let's see. Right? Look, I'm not willing to put it out there when it comes to these fights because, you know, in boxing, nothing is set in stone until there's a signed contract. So, you know, fighters, they talk with multiple fighters in the process of making a fight happen. So, to me, right now, Shakur could end up, you know, making a fight with Teofimo Lopez, with Lamont Roach, and maybe a few others. Maybe even an opportunity to Floyd Schofield. Because remember, that fight fell through. And Schofield just got a big win versus Tevin Farmer. So that could be enough for Shakur to say, you know what, I'll give you an opportunity. Whoop your ass real quick. So what's next for Shakur Stevenson? What's next for Pac-Man, Lamont Roach, Tank Davis? We'll see. We'll see. But if Shakur Stevenson does fight Lamont Roach next, now we know Tank officially ducked. And Shakur fought the same guy that he ducked. That's not going to be a good look for Tank. Your green thumb. Good morning, coach. Salute, my brother. Bam. Appreciate you dropping in. Let's go, Crawford. Your green thumb. I was just asking earlier. How is it possible that there's fans who have a way to discredit every single win in Crawford's resume? According to certain fans, none of his wins are good. One example of this crazy energy towards Terence Crawford, Sean Porter was washed. Now, when they fought, Sean Porter was 34, Terence Crawford was 35. Which means Crawford was a year older than Porter. But Porter was washed. But let's take it a step further. If I ask you how many of the champions Canelo beat was 34 years old or older, how many you think we're going to name? Kovalev, Cotto, Floyd, well, he lost to Floyd. Triple G, Mosley. Pretty much the overwhelming majority of the champions Canelo beat was 34 years old or older. So if you're trying to diminish Terence Crawford win by saying, oh, well, look what happened with Porter, then what will you say about all of the guys that Canelo beat that was 34 or older? So people use a logic that they want to use when they want to use it. And Terence Crawford is that dude who people make up a whole brand new logic just for him. Oh, nah, 34 years old, that's too old. Terence Crawford beat him when he was too old. God damn, 34 is too old? We're going to say that everybody Canelo beat that was 34 was too old? Everybody that Floyd beat that was 34 and older was also too old? Pacquiao, De La Hoya, Cotto, Mosley, it was too old? Zab? Come on now. I don't think Zab was 34. I don't think he was 34 when he fought Floyd, but I don't remember his age. But my point is, people find a way to try to diminish Terence Crawford's wins. Think about it. According to the people who don't like Crawford, right? He ain't beat nobody. ¿Ah? Anda a ver, para baño. Anda a ver. Tú puedes ir. How is it? So, think about it. According to the Amir Khan, he's not all that. A world champion. Te quiero también. Sean Porter, world champion. He ain't all that. Madrimov, world champion. Ven, Lito, para llevarte para baño. Madrimov, he's a nobody, reigning world champion. Ah, ok. Ah, pues está bien, ven con mami. Sí, mejor aquí ven. Anda, para que mami te ayude. So, if you look at the resume, my people, Terence Crawford has been fighting world champions, reigning world champions, and highly ranked opponents for over 10 years. Over 10 years that Crawford hasn't fought somebody with a losing record, somebody, a journeyman, somebody who you're like, well, come on now. Look at the names and the caliber. He's fighting world caliber fighters consistently. But somehow, some way, people think that it makes sense to try to diminish every single one of his wins. You can have a conversation with somebody that will tell you, oh, nah, Amir Khan, he was done. Oh, nah, Kell Brook, yeah, he was done. Oh, nah. Porter was washed. Bivol, man, he was not that good. Errol Spence, the accident, and his mind wasn't all there. Everybody that he beat, there's an excuse to diminish him. Does that really make sense? Or it would just be easy if they just skip all that shit and say, I don't like Terence Crawford. That's it. You don't like the guy. Your green thumb, it just shows how good he is. See what I'm saying? John Parham, people saying Moses should fight Usyk don't know boxing. I mean, look, to me that's crazy. You don't put a 20-year-old kid versus the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. You just don't do that. Think about how long a guy like Frank Warren has been in boxing. How many years of experience? How many champions he promoted? There's a reason why he's not pursuing a title shot right now. There's a reason. He's trying to develop his fighter for longevity. Because let me explain to you something right now that people don't realize. And this is real talk. For you to take a fighter, a young fighter, and get him a title shot at 20 years old, you have to understand that once he becomes a world champion, or he's going to be able to hold it down for the rest of his career and maybe take a loss here and there, but grab a title again. But that's it. For the rest of his career, there's going to be a certain level of pressure. Do you really want to put that on a 20-year-old? Like, that's it. From now on, that bullseye, that target is going to be on you. At 20, listen, you know what could happen if you do that at 20 years old? By 26, he washed. Because by 26, he already been involved in 10, 15 epic wars. Brutal slugfests. That's why sometimes you see fighters that by 30 years old, they be looking like they washed. Because they've been in slugfests, a bunch of them. So, when you grab a young fighter like that, you turn him into a world champion at that age, he's going to stand out. He's going to show out. But that type of toll on the body of fighting at that high level from that young age is going to be tough to survive it. It's going to be tough to make it all the way to 30 years old, 10 years, and still be a champion when you became a champion that early. Especially in the heavyweight division where it's just one punch that could change it all. It's tough. Aroma Sound. He would have to be a prodigy like Mike Tyson to even win that fight. And look, I don't want people to get ahead of themselves. Itauma special. Itauma special. But I'm going to tell you right now, he ain't no Mike Tyson. He ain't no Mike Tyson. And with time, though, he could become a Mike Tyson. But the reason I tell you he's no Mike Tyson is because Mike had more power than Itauma and was more explosive than Itauma. If you watch Mike Tyson at 20, nah, it's different. So let's not also, because that's the one thing, we make crazy comparisons right away. But no, Itauma, he's special. And I believe Itauma could even have a higher ceiling than Mike Tyson. He can. But he's not more dangerous. He's not better than Mike Tyson right now at that age. He's not. Take my word for it, my peoples. Aroma Sound. I doubt he would even win against Usyk right now. Usyk is way too experienced. Yeah, I don't think he could beat Usyk right now. I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. But like I said, at 20 years old, he ain't growing to his man strength yet. You see, that's the difference. Mike Tyson was like already on his man strength at 20. Itauma's not there yet. But at 22, with the skill set that he has, and then you add the power into it, I think Itauma's going to be just so spectacular to watch. J. Jack, Porter Crawford in Vegas. I was there. It was electric. Latin Grammy weekend. That was cartel infested narcos with the team. Canelo was present, realized he Mexico Prime Minister that weekend. Listen, bro, that was actually a great night of boxing, a great fight. Terence Crawford. The funny thing is, look at the way that people try to diminish Sean Porter, right? And you was there, you watched the fight. If you watched the fight, for anybody that tried to diminish him and say that he was washed and all of that stuff, Sean Porter's punch output was almost identical to when he fought Danny Garcia, to when he fought Keith Thurman, to when he beat Ugas. His punch output was very similar. So there was nothing in that fight that you could point at and say, nah, look, he's washed. He looks slow. He's not throwing punches. He's punch shy. No. Sean Porter looked like his usual self versus Terence Crawford. He was his usual self. Terence Crawford was just better than him. He was better. So while people try to hate, nah, Porter washed. Look at the fight. Look at the fight. Sean Porter looked like his usual self. There was nothing about that fight that will tell us he's washed. The only thing that tell us he's washed is the people that hate Terence Crawford. That's it. Nothing else. Wing Wong, Abdullah Mason, and Hamza Shiraz is getting their name shot up to the moon. They deserve it. They deserve it. Both of them won big fights. Yo, Hamza Shiraz, man, he's now the king of New York. Edgar Berlanga don't hold that title no more. Clifton Dennis, I don't think he beat Usyk either, but Fury likes his chances. Yeah, but, you know, I don't take what Fury has to say serious in this matter because he's talking about a guy that beat him twice that he's on denial about. He's like, no, I beat him. So in that, you know, Fury has an axe to grind here. So I don't really want to take what he says for granted or take it serious. Clifton Dennis, hell no, he wasn't washed. He gave Butt a hell of a fight. That's what I'm saying. The only way... The only way that you could say Porter's washed is because you don't like Terence Crawford. But if you watch the fight... If you watch the fight, then you know Porter threw a lot of punches, landed a lot of punches, won some rounds. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. Wing Wong, LA, Burlanga got his butt whooped. I'm telling you, man, that night, Hamza Shiraz became the king of New York because of Edgar Berlanga. And, yo, I'm going to tell you guys something funny about that. You guys know that there's well, you guys probably know, some of you, that there's a rivalry between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic when it comes to boxing. The latest matchup between us was Alberto Puello versus Subriel Matias, which, via controversy, but Subriel Matias won the fight. Very close fight. A lot of people, including myself, felt like Alberto Puello won it, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. It was a good fight. It was a close fight. I'm not knocking them. But there goes the rivalry. That rivalry between DR and PR is going to keep going. Wing Wong, Berlanga got his butt whooped. Man, listen. Berlanga got pummeled. That was a B team. That was a worse ass whooping than when he fought Canelo. Because the thing is, he fought Canelo to survive. He fought Canelo to go the distance. He actually went in there thinking he could beat Hamza Shiraz. So he stood there and tried to bang with him. And y'all see it. Y'all see it, man. Right now, I don't think Edgar Berlanga is even the king of his own block. He's not even the king of his house right now. Talk about the king of New York. And I seen an interview where Hamza Shiraz says, I'm the king of New York. I see. Go practice your English so we can play your video game match. Cuando tú termines, yo te voy con tu control. Está bien, se te va a quitar. So, my peoples, what is next for Edgar Berlanga? The former king of New York. The former self-appointed king of New York. What is next? Let's see. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Before the fight, those of you who've been here, those of you who've been part of the Box Center family, you know that I've been saying it. Edgar Berlanga, I was not sold on him. I felt like Hamza Shiraz was going to whoop his ass. I told y'all. If you was here, you know. I say, yo, Shiraz going to whoop his ass. And the reason I say that is because Edgar Berlanga was behaving the same way Adrian Broner was behaving after he started getting those big checks, that big money. You know, the partying, the iced out, the hanging out with the women, the entourage. The only difference is Adrian Broner started acting like that after he had won titles in multiple divisions. So he got accomplishments now. And those accomplishments got to his head. He started acting crazy. Everything went downhill. But I ask you, what the hell has Edgar Burlanga done? How the hell did you self-appoint yourself the king of New York? You don't even got a secondary title, bro. Not even a secondary title. And you the king of New York? But Teofimo Lopez is from Brooklyn, bro. And he a multi-division champion. Teofimo's from Brooklyn. So a multi-division champion who already beat a Hall of Famer Lomachenko, and you the king of New York. What are we doing? So now he got beat up. Hamza Shiraz is the king of New York. Timmy T, we can't disrespect AB. He still was a 4-division champion. But that's what I'm talking about. AB went crazy, but after he accomplished. He started doing all the crazy stuff, but he accomplished first. How is Edgar Burlanga, naming himself the king of New York, carrying himself like this big superstar when, bro, you ain't done shit in boxing. Wing Wong, spot on. Bruno looked like he was becoming a superstar, but he messed up big time. He fumbled the bag, man.
Me da miedo.
No, no te puede dar miedo porque yo estoy aquí. Y yo te voy a dejar la puerta abierta. Sí.
Yo me tengo que ir. Lo que pasa es que por el sueño que tuvo, ahorita como me lo hace.
Ah, pues está bien, está bien. Quédate aquí, libro, a lo que yo hago en mi programa, entonces.
Hablamos.
Okay, Junior C, he better press for the Jake Paul fight. I seen somebody post it today. Say bye to mom. I seen somebody post today that Jake Paul should fight Moses Itauma because they're both in their 20s. They both fought the older guy. Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson. Itauma fought Dylan Whyte. They should fight each other. I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. I know Jake Paul would never step in there with Moses Itauma, but I would love to see that fight, my peoples. Because you know what? If Jake Paul get in there with Itauma, we're finally going to get the happy ending that we deserve in a Jake Paul fight. We'll get the happy ending that needs to happen. But Superman never. I mean, I don't know, because Jake Paul, he been saying that he's that good. He been saying all these things. So you never know. What if his team or he convinced himself to believe that he's actually that good? Or maybe he thinks, you know what, Itauma, he's only 20, man. I could get him now before he matures. Yeah, my peoples, I know the odds are against it, but wishful thinking. Adari, Moses Itauma would destroy Jake Paul. How many rounds you guys think Jake Paul goes with Moses Itauma? Superman, he gonna get knocked right out. First round, he go to sleep. Superman, Jake won't dare. I mean, if he dares to fight Canelo, and he dares to fight AJ, why not fight this 20-year-old kid, bro? Damn, Adari got him going to sleep in the first round. Josh Oliver going to sleep in the third. Straight Nick, yo, my man, what's the deal, Straight Nick? My people, Jake Paul, if he goes up against Itauma, does anybody see him going more than 3 rounds? Because so far, that's the record. Josh Oliver says he goes 3 rounds. Straight Nick says it's 2 rounds. Come on, my peoples. Nobody see Jake Paul going the distance or maybe beating, upset win over Moses Itauma? Superman. But I don't know what's good with Jake contracts. I don't know either, man, but Jake Paul versus Moses Itauma, that's a big fight. Matter of fact, if Jake fight Moses, I'm not even gonna fire stick that fight. I'll buy it. I'm paying for it. But maybe that's just wishful thinking, my peoples. Wing Wong, nah, He gonna aim for Canelo, for the big bag. So here's the deal. I think if Canelo, well, no, let me rephrase that. I think when Canelo loses to Crawford, Jake Paul might become a realistic option. Why? Because in boxing, Canelo doesn't have anything to prove. He's already, the most accomplished fighter, the guy who beat the most champions in boxing. So I think he don't have anything to prove. He'll fight, get this bag versus Terence Crawford, and then he could just go grab another quick bag with Jake Paul, and that's it, retire. He don't need to fight anymore. That's it. That's it. With the type of money he made, the type of accomplishments that he got, I don't know if he needs to fight for another title after this. Take this L real quick, get your ass whooped, and now to walk out of there with a W, go get Jake Paul, wash him, get a nice big check. That's a happy ending. Straight Nick, what round does Canelo stop Crawford? Oh no, Canelo's getting beat up. He's gonna be competitive. First 8-9 rounds, he's gonna be competitive, but then he's just gonna get beat up. Adari, what do you think about heavyweight prospect Daniel Pero? Honestly, I haven't seen enough. I've seen some highlights. Haven't seen a single fight. So it's hard for me to say. He looks good. I can tell you he looks good, but I can't say enough. Clifton Dennis, a lot of us don't like Paul. I didn't either, but to be fair, he's okay for his experience level. No, and I agree with you, my brother. He's okay. Jake Paul can box. Look, the one thing that people have to understand is that this guy has been training in boxing already for 6 years. Jake Paul's been training with, professional fighters, professional coaches, great boxing gyms, the best equipment, the best resources. He knows how to box, my people. If any of you right now in this live, last 6 years training in the same gym with the same resources as Jake Paul, you're gonna be as good or better than him. And I'm gonna tell you why Jake Paul can become a decent boxer like he has, but he'll never be an elite boxer, ever, no matter how much he trains. So when you start boxing at 7 years old, 8 years old, your reflexes as you grow up from child to adulthood, your reflexes are different. Because you're developing, growing up your body at the same time that your reflexes as a boxer are developing. So Jake Paul will never be able to counterpunch like the elite because he don't have the same reflexes. There's a lot of little things that he'll never be able to do. Why? Because he was never an athlete. He turned himself into an athlete to box. And I'm not saying that you can't start late and have success. You can. But look at the guys who started late, like Bernard Hopkins, like Antonio Tarver. Yo, these guys, they was already athletes. And what I mean by athletes, they already had a build. They already had been to the gyms to lift weight. They already had worked out. Hopkins in jail, working out. They already had a frame. So people who, look at this guy, Kurt Scooby, practiced football. Used to practice football before he became a fighter. So there's guys who are athletes already. And when they transition to boxing, they're able to have success. Why? Because they already have that athletic ability. Jake Paul was never an athlete. If you look at Jake Paul before he got into boxing, he was a skinny guy doing Disney and doing all this YouTuber stuff. Jake Paul, you could tell, had never been in a gym in his whole life. Never threw a punch, never been punched in the face in his life. And he just decided, I'm gonna be a boxer. So he transformed his body to be a boxer. And he could be a good boxer, but he can't be elite. You never become an elite level fighter in that way, taking that avenue. Adari, Moses Itauma versus Bakamir Jalovov. I don't know. I don't know that fighter, my brother. That's one of those fighters that I've seen in a highlight video, image, but I don't really know him. I don't know how good he really is. Straight Nick, you're a good dad, bro, but not good at picking great boxers. Super Canelo, you my mans, but you picked this one wrong. You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out. People said that I picked wrong when I picked Crawford over Spence too, and they found out. So
Dieron anuncio.
they give you commercials, but you're not practicing.
Pero mira, vamos a ver.
Wait, I'll wait. Let me know. Let me know. I'll be right here. Piego, Oscar collaboration is undefeated. I don't know what that means. Your green thumb. You dropping the science, coach. I do my best. I do my best, my brother. I call it how I see it. Adari, are you from the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico? Dominican Republic. Junior C, they're gonna find you. They're gonna find out. Oh, they will. Believe it, they will find out. Hold on, man. Yo, Paige, you need a comedy channel so you can laugh a little bit more. Because we talking boxing. I don't want to bore you. Hold on, I'm going to look for something. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Let me finish the show, and then I'm going to play. I'm going to put something for you real quick. Yo no sé qué sí, el presidente de ahí. Espérame ahí.
Me pica.
Your green thumb. I was in DR a few years ago. Montecristi. I've been to Montecristi. That's a beautiful, beautiful city. Dari, is Dominican Republic expensive to live? No. Actually cheap as hell. There you go, Ryan. Good job. So, my peoples, I want to tell you guys about a conspiracy that's going on. Not a conspiracy, really, but about something that's going on with Terence Crawford. Apacitos. Good job. I want to tell you, my peoples, about the clownery, the goofballery that's going on with Terence Crawford. Think about this. I want you to think about how long Victor Conte has been out of jail and running snack. I want you to think about how long he's been doing it, right? And throughout the time that Victor Conte has been working with Devin Haney and with other fighters, the talks about PEDs haven't really been out there like that. But now that Terence Crawford is preparing to fight Canelo, there's certain boxing groups that they're posting about Victor Conte every single day. Every single day. They're posting about Victor Conte every single day. But they wasn't posting about him every single day last year. They wasn't posting about him every single day the year before that. So why now that Terence Crawford is preparing to fight Canelo, they posting about Victor Conte every day? Is it really about Victor Conte, or is it about Terence Crawford? Superman, Maniacs, and PBC gangbangers. I mean, why? Why would you? Not only that, I want you guys to consider this. Why would you start saying every day that Terence Crawford is on steroids? Why would you do that? Because think about it. None of us has ever seen a positive test from Crawford. We've never heard a doctor or one of the people that do testing saying that he tested positive. There's never been a rumor. Why would someone start trying to spread to as many people as possible that Terence Crawford is on steroids and that Victor Conti is doing something? Why? I'm going to tell you why, my peoples. Because there's folks out there who somehow, some way trying to benefit from selling a narrative. That's it. And not only that, to those of you who are subscribed to Box Center and you've been subscribed to this channel long enough, you guys know that I never cap. You may disagree with a prediction. Sometimes you guys got somebody winning, I got somebody else winning. Cool story. But you guys know that I never cap, bro. I don't take down, when I go live with you guys, the videos are up. I don't take them down. You can see everything that I've said. So, what is the point of trying to discredit, diminish a fighter? What is the point of that? What are you getting from it? I could never understand it, my peoples. And when I was talking to Greg Hackett the other day, I asked him about it, and he said there could be people getting paid to spread a narrative. And you guys watch me, and you see what I'm doing, and you see that whether you agree with me or not, but I'm being honest, you also have to understand that there's people out there making shit up out of thin air. And the worst part about it is that people hear the shit that they're making up out of thin air, bro, and then they go around spreading it. They spread it in the barbershop. They spread it at their workplace. They spread it all over social media to everybody that'll listen. Don't even know that you're spreading bullshit. Don't even know it. Don't even understand it. Franklin. Hello, John J. Will. Shout out to Greg for pulling up to Box Center. No doubt, my brother. Salute to Greg Hackett. You know, a true boxing mind that showed up. And he always talking knowledge. He always talking his talk. Franklin, Box Center is legendary content. Appreciate it, Franklin. John Parham. And Felipe, he used to box amateurs. John Parham. Like and subscribe. Hell yeah, my peoples. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Junior C. Canelo lovers. I mean, because to be fair, right? Every fan base has good fans that are just fans of the sport and love that fighter. And then every fan base has extremist fans that just go too far with it. You know, I know Canelo fans that tell me, now, look, he lost a couple of times. He's a great fighter. And then there's the Canelo fans that say, no, he didn't really lose to Floyd because he was too young. And he didn't really lose to Bivol because Bivol was too big. So those fights, I got excuses for both of them. And I got a reason why I could discredit every single win in Terence Crawford resume. I want you guys to think about that. In the history of boxing, right? Nobody knows the entire history of boxing. But think about fighters who've been the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I'm going to say some off the top of my head, right? Terence Crawford, Julio Cesar Chavez, Mike Tyson, Oscar De La Hoya, Pernell Whitaker, Manny Pacquiao, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Sugar Ray Leonard. So if you look at the fighters who've been the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, it's been great fighters. You can't name a bum. Sugar Ray Robinson, Felipe. So You trying to tell me that Terence Crawford became the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world by just beating regular dudes? He the only one in history to reach the top of the pound for pound list by fighting average Joes? J. Will Roy Jones Jr. Whoa. When I finish, I'll get it for you when I finish. So come on, my peoples. We have to understand that Terence Crawford is a great fighter, and the way that history is gonna be written, there's gonna be a bunch of goofballs trying to write his history, and it's gonna be too late for them to try to write it. Remember Floyd Mayweather? All the people who used to always discredit him, all the people who used to say he's just a runner, he's boring, he's not all that, they was on the wrong side of history. Floyd Mayweather ended his career as one of the greatest fighters of all time. And you spent the last 10 years of his career trying to discredit him, trying to say that he's not that good, trying to say that he's boring, that he runs too much, that he puts you to sleep. Ended his career as one of the greatest of all time. Arguably the greatest of all time. So now, you're going to spend the last 10 years of Crawford's career trying to diminish every win, trying to discredit everything he does, every decision he makes. When he retires, he's going to be one of the greatest, and you're going to be one of the goofballs that couldn't understand it as it was happening. Instead of enjoying greatness, you spent all this time hating on it. Damn, babe. I'd rather enjoy greatness, my peoples. Call me crazy, that's just me. Come on now. Felipe Silveria. Mayweather is the greatest. J. Will, I hope Netflix doesn't crash for Bud Canelo like it did for Mike Tyson. I don't think that it will, J. Will. And I say that because Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was like the first big, huge boxing thing that happened on Netflix. And they wasn't prepared for that. You gotta understand, Netflix is mostly known for streaming shows, for streaming movies, for streaming videos. They wasn't streaming fights before. This is a whole different setup, a whole different process, and on a huge scale. I think this time around, they're already going to be more familiar, understand the mistakes that were made before, and it's not going to happen this time around. So that was actually a good experience for them. Good experience. James Toney held a boxing event with K9 Saturday in Detroit. I actually seen a video with James Toney. When he was talking, he was addressing the people that go around saying that he's punch drunk. So salute to James Toney, man. I got a lot of respect. Great fighter, great champion. And he's still involved with boxing, man. I love to see it. I love to see boxers involved with boxing. I respect, the people who are commentators, who not really haven't been a part of boxing like that. I respect it. A lot of them do a great job. And to be honest, one of my favorite boxing folk, he never boxed. Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman never boxed. But he's a great boxing mind because he has spent so much time in boxing, around fighters, around trainers, around coaches. He's been there. So because of that, when Max talk, you see the knowledge. You could tell. Dari, do you think Dominican Republic and Haiti will become one country? Nah, that will never happen. That's kind of irrelevant. I'm going to give you one irrelevant question, right? But that'll never happen because there's two languages, two whole different cultures, two whole different religions. So the differences between the two, the history, what has happened in the past, there's that tension between the two, so it'll never happen. That's your one out of subject question. Franklin, agent getting 80 million, and let me see, Adari Penat. Adari, I'm gonna just say you kind of sound like somebody else that I had blocked. I don't know if you created a fake account to come back with the same shit, but you get that one just in case. J. Will, I see K9 working with the kids a lot. That's good, man. Anybody who puts energy into working with the kids, you got to show respect. You got to show love to. K9, salute. The kids are the future. The kids are the future of the country and of the world. So salute to anybody who's working on helping the kids, on building them, on putting them on the right path. J Jack, Hispaniola has two great countries, homie. Let's enjoy both, bro. Two amazing countries, beautiful countries. John Parham, 80 million, I doubt it. Felipe Silverio, being a boxing coach and being a boxer are different jobs. I agree, of course. If you're a boxer, you get punched in the face. If you're a coach, you're in the corner looking in. Dari Penat, does anyone miss HBO boxing? Oh man, I wish. I wish we had HBO boxing. Franklin, John, Saudi paying it. Jay Will, I do miss HBO boxing. HBO boxing was fire. I don't know if you guys got to watch that series, Boxing After Dark. That was my favorite. But HBO boxing, it's just that they had such a great cast and such a great promotion. HBO boxing, it was just everything. The look of it. You know, everything. The camera, the angles that they gave you during the fights, the commentary. Talking about Jim Lampley, George Foreman, Letterman, you know, then Roy Jones joined in, Bernard Hopkins. Bro, when you have a broadcast and you have Roy Jones Jr., a Hall of Famer, George Foreman, a Hall of Famer, you know, you have Hall of Famers in there. I said Bernard Hopkins, but I don't think Bernard Hopkins was ever really part of the HBO boxing team. I think he may have joined for a few, but he wasn't part of it. But they had a crew, my peoples. Jim Lampley with the color commentary. HBO boxing was on fire. Franklin, Parker, I'd like to see him world champion again. Look, man, I want to see Parker versus Usyk. I want to see that fight. That's a good fight. Plus, he's been on a tear, been on a run, momentum on his side. Let's see. Jay Will, being so young in the 90s, I didn't realize how great us boxing fans had it. Bro, boxing was crazy. The thing is that back then, we didn't realize, remember, social media didn't exist. So we didn't realize how social media was going to affect boxing. Back then, we was arguing about what was happening inside the ring. We was arguing about, my guy got faster feet than your guy. And you're arguing, yeah, but my guy hits harder. What? But who got the better left hook? Not this dude out with the left hook. And you're like, yeah, but my dude knocked this guy with a body shot. And your guy don't even hit to the body like that. Like, that's the type of arguments that we was having in the 90s. Fast forward to 2025 with social media, and dudes is talking about Tank Davis put more butts in seats, and he sells more pay-per-views. Like, what the fuck is going on? So if you was watching boxing in the 90s and debating and arguing in the barbershop, you see what it is now, and you understand the difference of how social media changed how fans view and even argue about boxing. It's a whole different game. Imada, what do you think about Bam getting back into the ring so quick in November? Can that be dangerous? I guess it depends on how his last fight played out. I watched it. I called it. How many rounds did it go? What rounds was it stopped? You know, I think a fast turnaround can affect you if you took a lot of punishment when you fought. But to give you an example, if you fought and you knocked the guy out in round number 4 and you didn't take a lot of punishment, you didn't get cut, you could be back fairly quick. Now, if you go the distance and you take a lot of punishment, you get dropped and everything, then you're going to need that time off. You're going to need that 6 months, that 8 months. So I think the time is gonna be dictated by what type of punishment the fighter took. If they feel like he can be back by that time, I'll trust them. You know, Bam is a special fighter, but I think that he has a real good team behind him. I don't think that Eddie Hearn would have put him back up there in November if they didn't feel like he was good to go. Jay Will, Jay Smith, that's true. Kids today at such young age have so much information to go off. And that's the thing. That before we were going off of the fights. Now, people, in order to feel like experts, people want to Google as much information as possible and enter all these stats into the argument. Oh, this guy knocked him out in the 5th round. Oh, this guy's gonna make $500,000 more. Oh, this guy did 2.5 million pay-per-views. That's it. The argument became different. Because a lot of the times, the argument in boxing amongst boxing fans is not even about the fighters. It's fans trying to prove to each other who know more boxing. It be people like, nah, I know more than you. My opinion is better than yours. That's crazy, my people. The way that social media changed how boxing fans debate is crazy. Like, if you've been following it, you've been watching it, how it's been forming into what it is now, that's crazy. John Parham, I can see Usyk around 3-4 more years. The one thing about Alexander Usyk, man, is that he's one of these special athletes who, and I said this before, you know, you don't see him partying like that. You don't see him drinking like that. You see him keeping his body always in shape, even in between fights. You see him in the gym and training in between fights when he doesn't have anything lined up. Usyk is going to be around for a few more years. Guys like that can fight into their late 30s and into their 40s and still find success, especially in the heavyweight division. Especially in the heavyweight division. So Usyk is not going anywhere no time soon. But I will say, in 2 years, maybe 3, when Moses Itauma is ready to step up, I think we're going to see Usyk stepping down without fighting him. Because then by that point, he's going to be at the very tail end of his career, and Itauma getting into his man strength. And I believe if they fight each other at that time, Itauma gets him. Let me sit right here. I'm going to sit right here, Finny. I'm going to sit with you right here. Okay, I'm going to put it right now. Aroma Sound. The fans fight each other on social media more than the actual fighters fight. And it's what they're arguing about, man. They're not even arguing about the fight. They're trying to test each other's knowledge. I got more knowledge than you. Like, what are we doing? Okay, John Parham, can we get 20 likes? I'm saying, though, man, we've been going at it. We trying to get those likes, but they don't want to do it. Franklin, I think Andre Ward could have beat Usyk at cruiserweight. Maybe. But I'm interested in seeing if that fight is going to happen between Andre Ward and AJ. I'm intrigued by that fight. The Hydro Grind, hit the like button. Hell yeah, my brother. They don't want to do it. The conspiracies against Jay Smith. Which, by the way, my peoples, since I'm saying the conspiracies against Jay Smith, I got to tell you guys, man, there's a boxing group where a group of people, literally formed against Jay Smith. Everything I post in that group, they be like, nah, nobody like what you talking about. Nobody likes your videos. You don't know boxing like that. It's almost like these casual fans who never boxed a day in their life, who never been involved in boxing, they get mad because they see my involvement in the sport and they constantly want to challenge me. Instead of enjoying the sweet science and let's talk boxing, let's, debate, let's trash talk each other. When I post, they be like, hey, nobody like you. Nobody like your shit. And it's like, yo, why do these people feel so hurt about what Jay Smith is doing? John Parham, No school today for Little Man. Nah, Little Man is with Jay Smith today. Adrian Penat, Moses Itauma versus Jared Anderson. I like that fight. I think that fight could happen sooner rather than later. Of course, I got Itama. I got Itama beating him up. Look, man, Jared Anderson, I put him on the same place that I put Edgar Burlanga. Two guys who haven't accomplished anything in boxing, made some money, and let that money get to their heads, started acting crazy, talking crazy, and they both got pummeled. Jay Will, what do you think Moses versus Andy Ruiz, UK versus Mexico? So I don't think Moses Itauma is ready for Andy Ruiz right now. Again, it's like I said, man, he looks real good, but if you don't take your time, if you make a mistake, he could take a loss early. And Andy's, I'm going to put it to you like this. I don't think that they should put Itauma versus a championship caliber fighter. Even though Ruiz is not a champion right now, but he's been a champion. That's what makes him a championship caliber fighter. So I don't think that at 20 years old, you need to put him in there with a guy who's already been a world champion, who's already been at the biggest stage. Instead, put him in there against good fighters, good contenders, people who are highly ranked, people who have been in there against a champion maybe and lost. But you don't need to put him in there against championship caliber guys at 20 years old. I think it's a little bit too soon. Franklin, Itama beats Joshua in 2 rounds. I don't know. We have to see it, but that fight's not going to happen. Eddie Hearn already said that. He's not even considering that. Franklin, let Itama have 5 more solid fights. Like I said earlier, my peoples, Moses Itauma is 20 years old. He hasn't even developed his man strength yet. Look how hard he hits. And he a kid, yo. He's a kid. Let's call it what it is. At 20 years old, you're a kid. And look how strong he is. Imagine when he developed his man strength. His power as a man. He gonna be scary. He's gonna be scary, my people. That's all I'm telling you. John Parham, Jake not fighting Moses. Yeah, he not fighting him. That's wishful thinking. But I wish he was fighting him. I'll tell you that right now. Adari, J. Smith, I enjoy your show very much. Keep up the good work. Every day and every time. Appreciate it. Bam. Aroma Sound. If they want to make Itama popular, they could put him in there against Jake Paul, bro. Jake Paul's not going to take that fight. He's not going to take it. I was saying earlier that I wish Jake Paul convinced himself that he could beat Itauma and take that fight. And then we could get the happy ending that we deserve in a Jake Paul fight. Kelly Monero, Mike Tyson was like that. Mike Tyson was the truth. Franklin, I like how Moses Itauma, after he hit Whyte, he went back into defense mode, showing some boxing maturity. I was saying that earlier, man. Moses Itauma, he showed, at 20 years old, usually when a guy hurts somebody, they jump on him, and try to throw a million punches. But you could see Itauma, he stayed focused, maintained his composure, maintained his defensive, just responsible. He was defensively responsible. He didn't get crazy or nothing like that. You see that in young fighters, they hurt somebody and they want to just get him out of there immediately. And he got him in there in the first round, yet you saw how patient he was. You saw the movement. After he hurt him, he was still patient. Got him out of there. Gojo Tio, salute. Bam. Jay Will, Moses is ranked number 1 with WBO and number 2 ranked with the WBA, which at the end of the fight, they asked him who he wanted to fight, and he said, they want me to have a few more fights, but I'm ranked number 1 for Usyk. He wants it. You could tell that Moses Itauma is about that life. He wants to fight Usyk. If it was up to him, he'd probably fight him next. But it's not a good idea, my peoples. I'm telling you. You don't take a 20-year-old kid and throw him in there for a title shot. I don't think it's a good idea at all. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because, number one, honestly, I don't think Itauma beats Usyk right now. I don't. Great young fighter with a great future ahead of him, but he's not there yet. Usyk is already a great fighter. Moses Itauma has the potential to be, but he's not there yet. Can't jump the gun, my peoples. There's steps that you got to take in boxing. You didn't just go straight to the top, or you end up getting your ass whooped. Just business. I want Wilder just because he trash. Need 2 months, 5 mils. Just business. Best channel for these uppercuts. Bam, bam. John Parham. Just salute. Franklin. Usyk the best of this era. So, as far as heavyweights, I say yes. As far as the best fighter of this era, I'm giving it to Terence Crawford. Right now, rightfully so, Usyk has to be ranked the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Right now, because of that monster win that he got in his last fight. But Terence Crawford is going to fight Canelo Alvarez, moving up 2 divisions. You know, he's the David versus Goliath in this story. He's the guy that people saying too small. Canelo's too big. Canelo's too strong. As the underdog, Terence Crawford is fighting at 168. Then he's going to be above Usyk. This win is going to put him at #1 pound-for-pound in the world. And not only that, I'm going to tell you something interesting. Once Crawford beats Canelo, he'll be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And there is nothing nobody's going to be able to do to take him off. That's it. That's it. That's going to be his spot. Because what win can you get to surpass him beating Canelo? That's it. He's going to be the best of this era, and there's not going to be no debate to make against it. I'll give you an example. For you to pass him, you would have to do something insane. Like, let's say Naoya Inoue jumping up 2 divisions and beating Tank Davis. Now you could start putting him in that conversation with Crawford because he did something huge that you just don't think could happen. So if somebody does something like that, but Terence Crawford beating Canelo, there is nobody out there that has a matchup to get a bigger win than that one. Unless they're going to jump up multiple divisions and fight a much bigger world champion. Franklin, in Ukraine, I think there's have to do dancing right through. No one, there's dancing right through school. No wonder Usyk and Loma footwork, world class. And I've seen that. I've seen that Lomachenko, his pops, used dancing as part of incorporating footwork. And that seems to be common in the Ukraine. Appreciate the likes, my peoples. John Parham letting y'all know, man. We appreciate y'all. Imada 210, Bam versus Bam versus Inoue can be big. Listen, my peoples. Bam versus Inoue is a huge showdown. That's a super fight. Here's the only problem with that. For it to happen sooner rather than later, Bam has to move up. And the problem here is that Inoue is already saying, I seen him say it in the interview, that fight could happen, but I can't stay here waiting for him. Oh, no. Bam said that. It was Bam that said, hold on. Who? Yeah, Inoue said it, my bad. Inoue said that he can't just stay waiting for him. So we might see Inoue move up, and Bam, doesn't end up moving up to his division in time, and they don't fight. That can actually happen. So for Inoue and Bam to fight each other, it has to be Bam who consciously says, I'm moving up to fight you. The same way that Crawford is doing it to fight Canelo. Aroma sound, Tank versus Boots doesn't even sound realistic. Exactly. But Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez didn't sound realistic just last year, Aroma sound. Just last year when I posted that Crawford can move up to 168 and beat Canelo, I was ridiculed. That fight will never happen. You don't know shit about boxing. That doesn't even make sense. Nobody want to see a fight like that. A year later, that's the biggest fight in boxing. So it's not about whether or not it sounds realistic. It's about we've seen fighters move up 2 divisions and challenge somebody. Sometimes win. Why Tank Davis? You know why it doesn't sound realistic for Tank Davis? Because nobody want to see him move up and fight big dogs. Nobody want to see him. His fans want to see him. Look, who he fighting right now? Lamar Roach, who he fought last? Lamar Roach, who he brought up from the 130 division. He also brought up Androide Garcia from the 130 division to fight him at 135. He also moved down to the 130 division to fight Leo Santa Cruz. So it's a pattern of Tank fighting smaller guys. That's why you can't picture him moving up and fighting a big dude. He don't do those. Franklin, anyone else had an ice bath today? God damn. John Parham. If Tank beat Roach and Shakur should be mentioned in the pound for pound. Hold on. If Tank beat Roach and Shakur, should he be mentioned in the pound for pound list? Look, for beating Roach, a guy that you brought up from a lower division, I wouldn't put him in the pound for pound list. For beating Shakur, yes. If you beat, not just look, you don't gotta beat Shakur to be on the pound for pound list, but beating Shakur will definitely put him there. Beating Teofimo will put him there. Beating Devin Haney will put him there. Beating a champion, Tank Davis hasn't fought a single 135 division champion. Beat one at least, man. John Parham, the hydro grind, I agree. Franklin, John, yeah, it helps my joints. K-Man, Roach should have let his train slow down waiting for Tank. He should build up Gary Russell Jr. fight or take a fight with Shakur. The guy Tank is scared to fight. I'm going to tell you what, Lamar Roach might actually end up fighting Shakur Stevenson next because they spoke about it. Shakur told him, yo, if you don't get the fight with Tank, I'm going to give you a title shot. So let's see. It can happen. And I believe if Shakur fight Lamar Roach next, that's going to put more pressure on Tank Davis. You know why? Because this is the guy that a lot of people felt beat you. Now you duck the rematch. Shakur Stevenson fights him and beats him in convincing fashion when you couldn't beat him. Because that's the thing. Tank Davis kept his undefeated record. Y'all know about the knee that was never counted. Y'all know he was supposed to lose that fight. Cool, you kept your undefeated record, but now you got a draw. You got a blemish. And you got a guy that you could not beat. If that guy fights Shakur and Shakur beat him, that's going to put some pressure on Tank. Because now you're going to make it more obvious as to why you don't want to fight Shakur. More obvious. The hydro grind. If Tank can get his mind right and focus on boxing, damn, he could fight Shakur, Till, Haney, all of them. But I feel he's just not fully committed. That's the thing, bro, that it's really hard to say where somebody's mind is at. Like, how could we really gauge where his mind is at? I don't know where his mind is at. And to be honest, I've seen fighters do everything when their mind wasn't right. I've seen fighters going through everything and still step in the ring and perform at the highest level. So it's hard for me to gauge where your mind is at just by watching whatever's going on social media. Armando Rosado, you didn't read my question, Chan. Let me backtrack. I got you, Armando. What does a victory over Crawford does to Canelo's legacy? What does a victory over Canelo does over Crawford's legacy? Please read me. So Armando Rosado, that's two very good questions. So I'll start off with Canelo. If Canelo Alvarez is able to beat Terence Crawford, that victory is going to enhance his legacy. Why? He's going to add another world champion to his resume, another Hall of Famer to his resume, and he'll be the first guy to beat a Hall of Famer in Terence Crawford. So that win, regardless of what Terence Crawford haters, it's only Terence Crawford haters who say, oh, that win is not going to be big for Canelo. That win would be huge for Canelo's legacy, and in fact, is going to be one of the biggest wins of his career. That's for Canelo Alvarez. Now, if Terence Crawford wins, it is going to be bigger for him. Okay, so for Canelo, it's a big win. But for Crawford, it's a bigger win. Why? Because he's the underdog. He's the guy that's supposed to lose. He's the guy that's in the same place that he was in when he was going to fight Errol Spence. He's too small. His opponent is going to break him down. He's going to get knocked out. The popular theme is that he's too little and his opponent is too big. And you saw what he did to Errol Spence, which that's one of the biggest wins of this era, of this generation. No. Let me rephrase that. That's the biggest win of this era. If he beats Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford will have two of the biggest and most important wins in this boxing era. So that's going to be, of course, a huge legacy-enhancing win for Terence Crawford. So for either guy, it is a big win, but for Crawford, it's bigger simply because he's the smaller guy. He's the underdog. People expect him to lose. And, of course, the accomplishment over the bigger fighter. Big win for both fighters. It's huge for Crawford because he's the smaller guy. Franklin, John, what do you buy with your first £1 million check? Golly. I don't even know. Whatever I'm buying, if I got that type of money, it's going to be for Ryan, for my son. My peoples. I want to give a shout out to John Parham. I want to give a shout out to JJ Zendejas. I want to give a shout out to K-Man, Armando Rosado. I want to give a shout out to the Hydro Grind. Everybody who tunes in for Boxing for Breakfast every morning, I want to give you guys a shout out, man. Because you guys, without you, this show would not be what it is. You guys also, yeah, I'm talking boxing over here, but you guys have different talking points. You guys have interesting talking points. When you contradict me, you see, that's the thing. If you contradict me with a valid talking point, we could go back and forth, and a lot of you guys do that. A lot of you guys have a legitimate talking point, and we could go back and forth. But if you're going to contradict me with some goofballery, then you know how it's going to play out. You're going to get cooked, and you might even end up on a timeout. Come on, man. Superman, breakfast don't got me tired. Franklin, watching from Cumbria, UK. My peoples is 20 son of us in the building, man. Let's do a roll call real quick. Before we go on with our day. Some of us already have breakfast. Some of you are on your way to lunch, on your way to work, or whatever it is. Let's do a quick roll call, my peoples. The Box Center family. Where is you representing Box Center from right now? Where you at, my peoples? Y'all know Jay Smith, Santiago, Dominican Republic. Where you at, my peoples? Where y'all at? Ricky C, to your thoughts on Joseph Parker's skills. Joseph Parker can fight. I got mad respect for him. He's a highly skilled fighter. JJ's in the house, or even worse than, fuck out of here. Your green thumb. Washington, D.C. is in the building, my peoples. John Parham, Superman. Got the itis. Cayman, Baltimore, Maryland is in the building. Tank Davis territory. John Parham, Louisville, Kentucky. The greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali territory. Franklin, 1335 here in Cumbria, UK. Eddie Hearn territory. Franklin, Aroma Sound, from Queens, New York. Nas territory. Illmatic territory. Armando Rosado, Puerto Rico. Tito Trinidad. Hector Lavoe. Sanders Sayers territory. The Hydro Grind. Santiago, DR. That's Jay Smith territory. Superman. Good morning, Rep. NYC by way of Queens. There you go. Nas territory. JJ's in their house. Woodland, California. And Twin Falls, Idaho. California? Isn't Tony Hawk from California? Idaho? Damn, my brother, I don't know nobody from Idaho. Franklin. America raided my town. John Paul Jones. Some history there for you, Americans. John Parham. You got 30 more minutes since JJ just woke up. Ricky Situ. Did you see? My brother, we not doing UFC, my brother. We doing boxing. I did not see it. I'll ask you your question. I did not see it. It's boxing, my G. Superman. And Burlanga ain't no king. My brother, Hamza Shiraz is now the king of New York. We know that. Don't do it to us like this. Gojo Tio. Earl versus Boost at 147. Who wins? I'm not sure who wins, but obviously it can't happen at 147. Boost is going to 154. Earl hasn't come back. Is he going to come back to 154, 160? But I would like to see Spence versus Boost. That would be a good fight. Not right away. I say Spence need 1 or 2 tune-ups. I know he spoke out against tune-ups, but you know, you got pummeled in your last fight. You've been out of boxing for a couple of years. A tune-up will be the right decision for me. My opinion. I'm going to put it right now. Armando Rosado. Parker for me is the most consistent heavyweight of this era. He fights everybody. Check out his resume. Parker is one of these guys who you know is one of the guys. One of the top dogs in the division. He's not a world... You know, there's been times that he wasn't a world champion. That he lost the title. Gained the... He's one of the guys. J. Jack, the Bronx. And I'm claiming Hector Camacho. Grew up watching him come to the barbershop in Lima. Ooh, Hector Camacho. Hector Camacho territory. Wait a minute. Wasn't Hector Camacho from Harlem, though? I can't remember. But Hector Camacho, that guy. And y'all know Hector Camacho Jr., that's my brother right there. That's my brother from another mother right there. John Parham, Parker is a dog. Jay Ayala, Parker loses to Usyk, Fury, and Natural. I mean, I think on any given day, if Parker's having a great night and they're not having their best night, Parker could beat any of them. He's that type of fighter. He's the type of fighter that if you're not on your best, you're not going to beat him. Franklin. Who would have won, Clarissa Shields or Rocky Dennis? I don't know Rocky Dennis. Who's Rocky Dennis, my people? I don't know Rocky Dennis. Está bien, te lo voy a poner ahora. My peoples, I'm about to end this episode of Box Center. Before I do, just want to say thank you everybody for tuning in. Y'all already know what it is. Tomorrow, same time, same deal, same boxing from your boy Jay Smith. Boxing for breakfast. Yo, every day is just getting better and better. I'm talking to some potential guests, so you guys will see more people joining me on Boxing for Breakfast, and I'm sure you guys are gonna love it. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Everybody who hit that like button, I appreciate you. Yo, guys, y'all already know what it is, man. I'm Jay Smith. This is Boxing for Breakfast. This is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. Stay tuned in. Some videos are going up today. Check out the shorts. Check out the videos. There's a lot of content that's been going up. Come on, my peoples. Enjoy Box Center. I'm out of here, my peoples. Y'all already know what it is. Peace.